Hey guys, GameBoy3800 here once again. We're back in Beam. I know it's been a while, but I've also been working on a lot of things, both in real life and in game. So, let's take a look. Can you notice anything different with the truck here? Like, sure, it's got a lot of lights, and it's got wonky suspension, but those are kind of not too new. Oh, there goes the camper right away. I have turned the wheel into a banana. How did I do that? I did it when I hit the camper. I was trying to fix it there, but oh well. Let's bring it back home and take a look at what is new. It is actually the lights. I may have slightly lied to you. This truck does have lights from standard, but not these kinds of lights. Let's take a look here. If we look at the horn slot, we have selectable underglow and adjustable underglow. What is this? Well, let's go over to our tuning menu. And we have light colors and light effects. So, if you know your color numbers from 0 to 255, with this, you can just make your own color underglow, and it's universal for all CRD, Wilman, and CRC chassis. So let's go ahead and turn green all the way down. But we still have full blue and full red. This should get us a neat purple or pink. Look at that, now we are pink magic. Pretty nifty. And we have the ability to make it brighter or take up more area underneath your truck. So let's go silly. And now we are basically a nuclear bomb of pink. Even more so if I go over and enable bloom. It just becomes actually blinding. So that's why I run without bloom, because truck lights are stupid. So if I go over, just turn it back down a little bit here. We'll give ourselves, we'll keep the pink, but we will go ahead and make it less silly. And if you have it less silly and turn on bloom, it's not as bad. So now we just basically have a spotlight on us. And yeah, you can use this to give your truck some color customization. If you don't know what you're doing with the colors though, have no fear. I have included some color presets. So adjustable, you got blue, green, orange, pink, purple, red, white, and yellow as preset colors. Now with this you cannot change the color in the tuning menu, but you do still get the ability to change the intensity and range of the brightness. And we see here we have selectable underglow full. If we go and look at this, we do have selectable underglow that's not full. This will make it so that it's just the cab and like under the front axle area. That doesn't look too different, but that's only because the range is silly. So if I do low range, it should be more towards the front. Yeah, there we go. So, full is like front and back. Regular is just the front. So, you can make yourself some pretty cool underglow options like that. Just give any truck a little bit more personality. And the neat part is it does not interfere with regular lights. So like if we look here on this truck, we have lights in the engine bay and on the headlights. But these lights just add to those. They don't overwrite, they only add to. So that's neat. I guess I'll just leave you right there. And I edited a vehicle, so I'm just going to tab through all the things here until we get to the next vehicle. Here we go. We got blacked out Max D looking cool as ever. See if you can notice anything new with this before I tell you what it is. A wonky looking back panel. But have you seen the new parts yet? I bet you have, you just haven't noticed. Look at the shocks. These are actually vintage dual coilovers. These are different from the regular ones in the fact that they can take quite a licking without taking too much damage. They're a bit more robust. They still let Willman be the Willman and have like all the body roll in the universe. But, you know, they don't just collapse. They don't seem to get stuck as easily, or at all. I haven't ever gotten that stuck. Not saying it can't get stuck. You can get unlucky, but I haven't gotten it yet. And people I've sent this to in testing say as much. And let's go ahead and do a flip over here. Because Wilman, normally if you land on the back pretty hard, you'll just get a shock to disappear, and that's not very good. Big squoosh, but shocks are fine. Now it's admittedly not a very big backflip. So I'll just see if I can sky it out here and see what happens. Oh yeah, that's right, it's the Wilman. We can't really sky it out because it doesn't do sky wheelies that easily. Let's just do something stupid. Well, that was stupid enough to break a front shock, so you can't see that it is as advertised, I guess. Tougher, can take a licking, but not invincible. So, no driving into walls at 80 miles an hour for you. I mean, you could, but you just wouldn't do very well doing that. And the other thing here, I bet you didn't even realize this until I mentioned this right now. Look at the tires. These are regular BKTs with no mud on them. What? That's right. Regular Wilman has muddy tires, but here, new tire options for CRC tires. So these are all the same stock tire options as on CRC, just not dirty like they are on Wilman. So if you ever wanted Wilman, but wanted clean tires that also run easier because you don't have 1,000 PBR layers, And here you go. Oh. So yay, cleaner, easier to run Willman. Everyone likes that, right? Ooh. And of course, you can still do all the crazy things Willman's known for, and all the sad rollover unsaves you can also do. And let's go ahead and go to our tuning options, because this is like a new suspension option. You can see adjustable dual coilover, so this means we do have adjustable four-link length and stuff. So that's neat for more customization. Regular Willman has adjustable front suspension as well. So I'm not going to claim that's new, it's just an option for the dual coilers. Going back to the stock suspension, so I can show one more thing I added. I added some heavy-duty front axles and some heavy-duty rear axles. These are just more weight, a little bit more stability, a little bit less tire wobble from side to side on drifts. It's not eliminated entirely, but I think it does help. So if you ever notice Willman just is terrible, this might fix it. And even if it's just like a placebo effect, just having some more weight down low on Willman can just improve general stability. So, between the new shocks, the new axles, Willman should be a little bit easier to drive, have some more options, and maybe even be competitively viable now. Maybe, I don't know. It still won't make me drive Willman, but at least it'll give some options for other people. And that's it. Now we got to tab through all of our friends again. And next up is the classic KFA2 truck. What do we got here? I'll give it a quick drive. You might be able to see what's going on right away. Maybe you won't. Boing. Truck gets a lot of air. Oh my. Wait a minute, this isn't a regular CRD chassis, what is this? Yep, this is Nathan's chassis, Nathan Hills. He's had it on the website a couple of times. He takes it down every couple months because he's a bot. But anyways, a lot of people like it. So I've added some things to it to make it more universal and have some more options. So let's take a look at what we got here. If we go to the chassis, this is the Eddie Magica chassis. And we can see here, the body has added the ability to add CRD 1 and CRD 3 bodies to it. Just because it's basically a CRD, so I didn't see the reason why most bodies shouldn't fit. And I use this as a prototyping tool to see what bodies do fit, because I do a lot of body transfer commissions. And this just helps me see if it'll fit easily and good to go. Some bodies don't fit, like the Iron Man or Alien Invasion body, like the hood will fall off, so that would need some editing. But that's why it's got the unstable tag. And if you ever wanted more bodies on Eddie, then there you go. This also is on like the CRD Monster Truck chassis, it's on the PI chassis, it's on the TMS chassis. So yeah, you could do a lot of new bodies on Nathan's things, so that's neat. We go to the wheelie bar. I have fixed all of his wheelie bars. Why is this? And it's because the wheelie bar nodes are actually named WB. You want to know what else is named WB in the nodes for like codes of trucks and stuff? Windshield base. A lot of trucks will have like a windshield base, especially like Gravedigger here to our left. They'll have like an extra piece at the bottom of the windshield. And that has the node names WB as well. So what would happen is if the body has a windshield base and you have the wheelie bar installed, they would be having conflicting names. So you'd get the wheelie bar spiking to oblivion. You would have bits of the body maybe even going just to the front left wheel hub for no reason. So that's no bueno. We don't want that. So I've gone ahead and just added a fixed version. It doesn't change the wheelie bar at all. All it does is change the node names. And the last thing on this chassis is I have added the ability to put in CRD3 engines. So if you wanted to run this chassis, but wanted to run like the league spec engines, this will allow you to do so. So now we have the regular engines and we have the league engine slots, we have the customizable engines, all the engines we're usually familiar with, now on Nathan's chassis. Now I'm not going to claim it's the best, most perfect solution ever. As we take a look, the engine mount kind of goes to nothing and you might have some header clipping the chassis bar issues, but it still works. So if you ever had like a league spec thing but loved Nathan's chassis for its looks or its handling or whatever, well, now you get the best of all worlds. You can put whatever body you like on Nathan's chassis now, as long as it's a CRD or CRD3 body, and you can run your league spec engines. Likewise, the engine. Oh, that was neat. Likewise, the engine slot is also on PEI, it's on TMS, it's on Cohen, all of his other chassis mods he's done in the past. It's on there as well. Whee! Owie. Let's go ahead and send her off to oblivion. And we got one more truck there to take a look at. Boing. Owie. And that's your home now. Can I just go back some trucks? There we go. That's faster. And next up, this is a big Bev pack update. Take a look at this. You think this is regular Gravedigger? No, no, no. Chris Pasta and I have been very hard at work in getting this custom chassis completed. I think it's been in the works since October last year, and it's now finally ready for release. We've got custom suspension, custom engine, bodies customized to fit the brand new chassis. This is Gravedigger 19 customized. Revs very high. It's a lot of power. And has a ton of custom paints done by... who's this done by? I want to find out. This paint job is done by... Paints by W&B and TCM. So there we go. Thanks very much, you guys. These paints look amazing. And this will be coming out in Bev Pack. All the other things have been in adjustable add-ons, but this is Bev Pack. And some other fixes have been added to BevPack as well, like the 54 Pro mod body that had some extra parts in its model that were conflicting with the base mod stuff. So I have removed them, as well as touched up on that body's shading a little bit. So save a little bit of space by getting rid of conflicting model pieces. And it should hopefully look better with PBR now. I'm not quite done yet though. We're going to go ahead, I guess, spawn it out here so we're not looking straight up the backside of Gravedigger. That's kind of sus. Let's go up to our backup beeper and take a look at the auto RAI. I have significantly overhauled this since we have last taken a look at it. If we go now to the backup beeper, we have the auto RAI, and now we have options here. Take a look at this. We have regular RAI, we have strict RAI, and then we have a meme RAI, and I guess lenient is also a meme RAI. Still working on lenient to give you like some funny messages for like big air, whoa, stuff like that, because you know they like that. But you know, we get the Feld and regular RAI. Regular RAI I think is unchanged to how we've seen it before. So let's go ahead, you know, send her off. Regular RAI means hard impacts or hard rollovers will trigger a shutdown of the engine. If you rolled it back over or your truck is undamaged, of course you're free to fire it right back up and continue your run. So let's go ahead, commit a Gravedigger 2017 moment and fail a backflip and see what happens. Hard rollover, shutting off ignition. But we actually came back on our tires there, so let's go ahead and fire right back up. It was automatic. I had nothing to do with that shutdown. I did have to manually turn it back on though. Likewise, if we decide to commit a Ford Mustang. How? How did that happen? Anyways, hard impact detected, shutting off ignition. I think that is the least of our worries, I'll be frank. But I'll also be Gameboy 3800 and say that was awesome. That was wild, actually. Haven't ever seen that one. Like, we lost all the tires, but I think all the 4 links and steering were fine. It was actually insane. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of the other options for RAI, as well as something for the engine here. We have a couple of options for supercharger, so 1400 horsepower and 1600 horsepower. But if we take a look up here, it says we're at 1530 horsepower. What is that all about? Well, in the coding for superchargers, there's something called a boost controller. And most of the stock engines have a boost controller of, like when you're at 100% throttle, it's got a value of 1.2. What does this mean? Well, if it's anything over 1.0, that means you're getting essentially free boost with no downside. So if we go to 1400 horsepower, we will actually see a change in that behavior, I think. So take a look. We did not change our horsepower according to the stat bar up there, but take a look at our boost. Now we're only doing 24 psi instead of what was it, 30 psi before? Almost 30 psi. We're definitely down on power. We're no longer making a free 20% extra boost. So what does that mean? That means the top right power number is actually accurate now. Imagine having accurate powers being displayed. That's why BeamNG's supercharging system is from the 18th century, and that should be changed. Anyways, we're going to roll it back to 1600 horsepower for testing here. And the header options we have for this, we have zoomy headers and we have the TMS headers. So we're going to go for zoomy headers because these are actually kind of special. I'm proud of these. stalled out. Take a look at these. These are actually the CRC zoomies, just customized and fit perfect. Let's go up to the RAI now. And let's go up to the stricter RAI. So we no longer need to hit a wall at Ford Mustang speeds and lose all of our tires for it to trigger. So if you thought it was too lenient before with standard, this should help out in making calls more automatically. So regular big landing, stuff like that, it won't trigger for that, obviously. But let's go ahead, do something silly here and land on the roof. Bonk. There we go. Auto shut off, even though we have no damage, and now we just completely turtled ourselves, so less than ideal. You can see it still allows some leniency. You're allowed to try to save it a little bit. But like hard rollover or bigger impacts, it'll shut you off a little bit earlier than standard. And then we have very failed RAI, too strict as a meme, and this is quite funny. So what happens if it's too strict? RAI didn't ask, go touch grass. Alright, well what if I just accidentally bump into something at not too fast a speed here? Alright, didn't trigger there. A little bit lenient. Or like, you know, not terrible. Didn't ask, go touch grass again. Okay. I'm not getting the second message, but it's supposed to say something like nap time for like a harder rollover impact. Bonk. Oh, there we go. L plus ratio, cry about it if you have too high impact. So there we go. Get some funny messages. It shuts you off earlier, like even earlier than strict. And, you know, you might think it's decent for, like, driving around here, but if you're on, like, a bigger stadium or more modern map, especially with, like, resize, because don't forget, this is a universal option. It's on all chassis. So if you have a much more springy chassis and get yourself some bigger landings and stuff, that could just shut you off for normal big landings. And that's part of the meme. Oh. No. Come on, man. All I did was, like, hit my wheelie bar a tiny bit. Aww. Just keeps telling me to go touch grass, man. So rude. And that's about that for all the things I have spawned up here, but there is one more thing. The RatAttack revamp is not done, but I have slightly revamped the old frame. Let's take a look here. Just gonna go ahead and replace Gravedigger here, that's fine. Take a look at this. This is a Shelby Cobra Coupe with mud tires on the RatAttack chassis. Finally getting some love for this frame. We've got new headers, we've got new body, new tires, and it should be be a little bit easier to run as well, because I have fixed some of the faces, so I don't need to have a duplicate in anything anymore. It was so shocking that even Black Magic caught fire. Nobody expected this thing to come back, right? But here it is. New headers that also fit the regular RatAttack Corvette body. Got revamped to the tires to allow some of BeamNG.Drive's mud tires to show. And the model itself for the chassis and the headers and the suspension is touched up just a little bit. And this was done as a commission job for Phantom Duck, but he said I'm free to put it into the meme pack. So, here we are. And I gave it a slightly sus looking paint job here. Bit of chrome that looks pretty with the reflections on. And if you put on the stock exhaust, because we see these are 427 headers, if we put on the long tube headers, but don't want it to clip the body, all we got to do is go up here and find the body extension at the bottom, and this will then give us a cleaner cut at the bottom edge to give us better compatibility with the stock engine headers. You can see the stock engine headers, they're a little bit cleaner. So that's pretty cool. And these wheels, these are not the only options we got here. We go to the unbelock option, we can see a little bit more of that internal rim design. I'll only do the fronts just so that we have a bit of both. And obviously mad props to BeamNG for letting me use these wheels and tires. Take a look at that. That was weird. Yep, that's everything we've got going so far. Small RatAttack chassis revamp with a new body and new wheels and tires. We've got universal parts and fixes to some of Nathan's things, if you got them, so that's cool. We've got Willman with new suspension and tires. And, oh yeah, I despawned Gravedigger. We got Gravedigger 19 in BevP. Also in BevP is the Mercury body on some of the new CRD 2020s chassis cabs, as well as some more 2020s cab revamps, and some general fixes. And then, of course, the full auto RAI is a long work in progress. It'll be continually updated and more things added, such as more compatibility. And speaking of that, auto RAI is now available on CWM's, what do you call it? I can't remember the name. I am so bad. I gotta look it up. I'm genuinely that bad. The Showdown Pack. So, available on the Showdown Pack, available on every other chassis. So if you wanted to use the Showdown Pack, but wanted to use RAI, now you can. There goes it. Yeah, try to minimize that as much as possible, but of course, enough suspension angle, you're gonna get it to happen. But you can mitigate that a little bit because, I forgot to mention, we do now have adjustable lengths on the RatAttack chassis. So you can customize the tuning on it even more. There's probably some other fixes and changes too. And I know I want to fix some of the engine textures eventually, trademarked. But that'll be for another time. This video is 35 minutes long. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover today. If you all enjoyed, you can leave a like, favorite, comment, share, and of course don't forget to subscribe as well. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Goodbye everybody. Go get some tacos. RIP.